Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Welcome one final time to Hey
Mm.
Jeff, a podcast about Survivor and Big Brother and cake and eating it too.
Mm. Bruce Bogtrotter in the house.
Who?
The guy from Matilda who has to eat the huge chocolate cake.
I never watched Matilda. I'm not
Oh,
I'm not in the Matilda cinematic universe.
okay. Well, he eats a big chocolate cake.
Does he have the best time ever?
N- yeah, he does actually.
Does he get diabetes at the end?
He does it sort of like as a punishment, but then all the kids are cheering him on, so then it's like cool to eat a big chocolate cake.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Survivor ended on Wednesday night, and here we are on Friday.
I know. We just couldn't wait. We had to do our finale podcast today.
Well, it's a 3-day weekend here in America and a 4-day weekend for some other people
Yeah.
that somewhat include myself.
And Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst it's always
He's
a
off.
vacation when you're Jeff Probst. Even when you're working. He's like, I'm in Fiji. I was
Always
telling you to come out
happy
here
hour.
to the island and, faint. Just not eat enough food so that you faint.
Yeah.
Daniel, what did you think of the finale?
I thought it was pretty good. I honestly, I'm sort of like Heidi was robbed.
Interesting. I mean,
um,
in a way, but I think she just never she was so bold for doing what she did, and I think she would have been a very deserving winner.
yeah, I thought it was a star-making moment. Like I honestly thought going into this episode, I was like, okay, if any of the 3 Tika people win, Carson, Carolyn, or Jam Jam, I'll be satisfied. I don't care about the other 2 really. But then as the episode went on, I thought, and she won the final immunity and did the fire and won the fire and had the fastest fire time in all of Survivor. I was like, this is a great story. And Survivor does often reward the story. And I actually thought hers, as of the finale, was the strongest.
I am reminded
Mm.
of last season's finale.
Mike Garbler?
Yeah. I felt somewhat differently in that I just thought that this was Carolyn. I just thought it was Carolyn.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm reminded of last season because we get to the end and I honestly can't even remember anyone's names anymore. But the cute blonde yogi girl who went on a pretty massive competition run to end season 43. Ever get her name? Tess, Annabelle, Angelica, whatever. But you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I guess I could look this up.
You
But
think I remember who was on this season of Survivor?
no,
I
no.
don't. Like some of the people showed up for the final tribal, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I ever saw this man before in my life.
Cass.
Cass, sure.
That's why I wanted to say Tess. She kind of was playing like a low-key game. And then I think she, in addition to beginning to play more strategically as the season went on a bunch of had a bunch of comp wins towards the end, and she gives her speech, and I'm like, this is it. She's
Right.
winning this game, and she got like 1 vote, and I thought so much, and I'm not disappointed at all. Jam Jam is an iconic
He's great.
Survivor
Yeah, I'm not
winner.
disappointed either.
I'm just watching this, and I didn't think Heidi had it at all. I thought Heidi's great. Heidi has been a Breddy all-star all season long.
She has.
All right?
That's why I think you'd be Team Dani as well in thinking this.
I just thought I didn't think she was going to win. I thought she was going to win, after she wins the fire. I'm like, I have a hard time seeing she's going to win, but I do have a feeling that the jury is relatively undecided and relatively split amongst these 3. Maybe I'll give a slight edge to Heidi because of the recency bias of what has happened in the last 2 days and how strong of a game she's played literally in the final days.
Right.
And I thought Heidi did not have a good final tribal. I thought she came across as very desperate, and she was clinging at a lot of straws. And we can get into the specifics there. But I could just sense from a vibes perspective, when you're like hanging out with friends, maybe you're in a work meeting, maybe you're on a date, and you can just sense that someone's like being a bit desperate and being a bit thirsty for an outcome. That
Yeah.
was my sense from Heidi during that. And I could sense that the jury wasn't buying it. Meanwhile, I was struck by a moment of this episode. They're leading up into the final tribal, and Carolyn is sitting there on the rocks and she's talking to the producer. And for the first time in 13 weeks, we hear the producer's voice again. And he's like, "Do you remember when we were doing this 26 days ago?" And it's a callback to the very first moment of the season. The
Right.
season opens up on a direct to cam with Carolyn.
Our star.
And she's like, "What? How do I do this?"
Mhm.
And you hear the producer's voice being like, "Just tell us who you are," or whatever. And she's being Carolyn. She's like, "I don't know." And in that moment, I'm like, this is it. This is the bookend of the season. This is the dramatic,
This
like,
is the story.
callback.
Yeah.
This is the Carolyn season.
Yeah.
And they teased it to us from the first moment by giving us this very genuine moment between her and between the producers of the show. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. And Carolyn did get a vote. So what do I know?
No, she didn't. She didn't. I found the final tribunal a little too focused on emotions. There were a lot of questions where like, and what was your emotional journey? And I was like, I really don't care, actually. There was just too many. And it'd be like, Jam Jam would answer, Heidi would answer, and then Kane or someone would be like, but Carolyn, what about your emotional journey? And I was like, no, I was fine, actually. Moving ahead to a different type of question.
I don't care about anyone's journey.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, boy, I just got back from the airport. My arms are tired.
I
don't
care. Yeah, how'd you feel about our trip back to the sanctuary?
Oh my gosh.
A trip so nice. They did it twice.
They did it fucking 4 times. I have some notes for season 45.
Okay.
Don't know if we need to do them now, but I think one of them is like,
I think we might as well.
Mean Girls meme. Stop trying to make sanctuary a thing. It's not going to happen. Okay.
This little hut. I've seen huts for babies at Club Med nicer than the sanctuary.
Cool. You got 4 pillars, and a roof. You made a gazebo in the sand. Where good thing, like, stop trying to make where good things happen a thing. Like,
yeah.
Oh, what's a good thing? I had lemonade that a fly has been like buzzing around for 20 minutes before I got there. I liked the season. I thought we had some really iconic characters. Next note for season 45. And we've discussed it. I think the season lacked a bit of, it should be ramping up in the final 5, 6, in the final half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it took us forever to get to the individual portion of this game. And then once we did, we had another like 2 weeks of like, yeah, well, half of you are immune, and the other half need to stand on your heads and spit nickels, and then you'll be immune.
Too much.
It's like, the game is great when it's 9 people who are trying to cut each other's throat, and they have to stand on a log with 1 foot for 5 hours.
Yes.
While Jeff is like, who wants cookies? That is the best part of the show.
I agree.
The individual when it's tribes, that's fine. There's always the push and pull of, do we vote out the person who's the shittiest at challenges so we can continue to keep our tribe immune, or do we get out a big threat now? Do we get out someone who's just plain old annoying? Someone who's just untrustworthy. That's interesting for the first 5 episodes of the season. But by episode 6 or 7, get to individual game, get to emerged tribe, and stop doing weird twists. This isn't Big Brother. You guys are better than Big Brother. Sorry, I know we're the Big Brother podcast. Be better than Big Brother.
Yeah.
That's my note.
Because we look at Big Brother as like the redheaded stepchild that we happen to love.
Yeah.
We're actually the biological parents of that redheaded stepchild. And so we love it.
Are we abusive? I don't understand this.
Yeah, we love it, but yeah, we don't appreciate it. Well, no, we love it, but we can admit that it has a lot of faults. Whereas Survivor is like the golden-haired, brawny, football playing star, like
Not either of us.
oldest son of the family, the Colby. Of
Oh,
the
God
family.
damn it, Justin.
And so it's like when the Colby starts fucking up and acting like the redheaded stepchild, even though if it wasn't like a one-to-one comparison, like dropping the ball, not being as tightly edited. Yeah, throwing a bunch of weird twists that I'm sick of, or plot diversions, or whatever it may be. That's when we have to sort of come down on it a little bit. We have to give a little more harsh notes and say, let's go back to the drawing board. Jeff, the reins are too loose, in my opinion. They need to tighten things up.
Tighten up.
Tighten the
Yeah,
reins.
I mean, are there other specific things we want to get into, like a TikTok of the episode? I to come back to Sanctuary. I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people. Who hears chocolate cake and is like, all right, and then carrot cake and is like, oh my fucking God.
It's a very older, like old people love carrot cake. I'm just gonna
I was
say it.
afraid that this was like a Gen Z thing, and that like, because like Carson's like 12 years old,
Right.
you know,
You know what
like
I've thought
I think
about while I was
Lauren's in her
watching this
20s.
episode?
What's up?
I was like, I don't remember what Carson's story is. Like
He's
at
a
all.
nerd.
That's his story? He's
He's
Harry
a
Potter?
nerd. He's Harry Potter. He lives under the fucking stairs.
I was just like, everyone shares their story and gets time to throughout the season of like, here's why I'm here. My brother died, or whatever it is. Like something really, usually it's something sad, or it's like I overcame this other obstacle. I couldn't read until I was 30, or whatever it is. There's always something. But I was like, for the life of me, I cannot remember what Carson's story is.
He's a nerd. He's really young. He's very scrawny. Like he put on some muscle mass before the show and weight before the show even started, because he was like 125 pounds,
Right.
on the reg. And he's the one who he 3D printed every puzzle. He's practiced
Yeah. He goes
everything.
to NASA. He's a NASA baby.
I know, and I know he said that he practiced fire at home, but I actually got quite. I grew to like Carson a bit more as the season went on. I kind of started off being like, "Oh my God, just stuff this kid's head in the toilet bowl." I just want to bully him. I don't know why. I definitely started to like him and appreciate him more as the season went on.
Yeah,
I
I did
actually
too.
think
Once it became clear he wasn't going to backstab Carolyn and Yam Yam, because at first I was like, he's evil, he's going to throw them under the bus. But
Yeah,
when it
that's what I
became clear
thought.
they were really truly a trio, and he actually genuinely loved and respected Carolyn, I was like, he won me over for sure.
Yeah, I had the same fear at the beginning, because he was kind of wheeling and dealing with a lot of
Devious.
people, and I thought he was going to turn on them, but actually he didn't. What the hell was I saying?
You wanted to stuff his head
Oh
into a
yeah,
toilet, but now you love him.
and I don't love Harry Potter. I'm a Slytherin. I hate Harry Potter. And I just thought, as he is struggling making a fire, even though he said he practiced the fire as much at home as all the other 3D printed puzzles and challenges, I just thought, man, you can practice every puzzle as much as you can, but if you like don't have a mastery of the elements of nature,
Yes.
sorry, but you can't 3D print fire. And that's all I thought. And I thought it was actually a pretty it was like a literary comeuppance for him, that like he destroyed every puzzle in this game because he practiced them so much, and he took advantage of technology. He took advantage of all of this prep that you could do, that I don't know if you would call cheating, but it's like way above and beyond what anyone else would do going on as Survivor. But when it came to the elements, when it came to building a fire, the most core element of this show, he couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's very like, what is Survivor? Is it man versus nature? Is it man versus man? Is it
Man versus Jeff.
man versus self? Yeah,
Man
man
versus
versus
God,
Jeff.
i.e., man versus Jeff.
But yeah, you're right. But to be fair, he did pretty well actually at the fire. It just so happens that Heidi was like the fastest of all time.
Yeah.
It brought me back to that one season. I have no clue what season. Sorry, but it was two women who were doing the fire, and they just could not get it lit. And at one point, Jeff had to give them matches.
I just watched one. I
Jeff was
think this
getting
was
so
like
mad.
I think this was like blue collar versus white collar versus no collar, where these guys were, it was like sad and emasculating, and these guys were just like, and they had the timer going on the bottom. Like it didn't have like an active counting timer, but every once in a while they would just show like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeff, I broke my flint. Can I have another one? Yeah. And like both these guys went through like 2 machetes and 2 flints and could barely do it. And I think it went like 45, 50 minutes, this entire thing. And I was like, oh, how a mask. And it was like 2 guys too. And there's like
Okay.
a whole like emasculating factor about it. It's like, let's say the motion of it is similar to maybe something else. And there's like this, like, you have this motion of this man, I'm sorry, doing this
Yeah.
repeatedly and being like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And like, that's you know, there's something that's, I don't know, there's something like really
Ties into
brutal
something.
about that. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
like make this like overly sexual or anything. It's just like but there is, whether it's fire, whether it's like, again,
Life.
like sexuality, whether it's like performance, masculinity, femininity, there's all these really core things about being
Yeah.
alive, about being a human being, touching the sand, touching
So
the dirt,
true.
touching the leaves, looking at the sky. There's something so elemental about this. And you
Survivor, more
can't do
like
it.
aliver.
Go play with your little rockets, little rocket boy. Maybe you can make a fire on Mars.
Yeah. And to be clear, neither Brett nor I know how to make a fire. We would not do well.
I have lighters. I have a lighter.
Oh my gosh, exactly. Or I like there's a button you can push with certain fireplaces, and that
Yeah.
that's how I would start a fire.
No, or you have the lighter with the
Yeah,
long
sure.
thing. You know, you
Sure,
do
sure,
that, or
sure.
the long matches. Did your
Mhm.
family? Do you have like
Luxurious.
do you have a a fireplace growing up?
We did. Yes.
Do you have the long matches, the box of matches that are like 18 inches long?
I don't remember. I think we maybe used regular matches, but I also remember like was never good at doing it because I always was just like, throw the paper in there, let's light the paper and then see what happens. Even though
I
they were
always like the
logs.
lighter fluid part of it, and I remember going camping many times and being like, I think we need more lighter fluid, and then my hamburgers tasted like chemicals.
Char.
Cool.
Charred hamburgers.
I wouldn't call it
But
charred. I would call it more chemically burnt.
I can't imagine you camping.
I love camping.
You do?
I haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't been like really camping in probably like 10 years. I've been lots of music festival camping, which
It doesn't count.
doesn't count. No
No.
fires. That's more about that's true Survivor.
Yeah. True Survivor.
That's true out in the elements, not sleeping, consistent, yeah, living off peanut butter and jelly, being
Right.
stinky.
But you know you can get I'll say one thing in favor of true camping these days
Mhm.
is you can get the craziest gear that looks so fun. And it'd be so fun to buy all this gear and use it once. And I wouldn't carry it, obviously. And I'd
No.
rent a car and I'd drive to the campsite and I would unload directly at the campsite. And maybe I'd go for one little walk around the
Yeah.
lake, but then I'd come back to the campsite where my car is.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I go car camping.
Okay. Yeah.
There are people, trust me, when you live on the West Coast, you are a single gentleman or gentlewoman. There's a lot of people who like either are or are performatively like hiking, camping people.
Yeah.
And every picture on their dating thing is like they have the stove and the backpack strapped on and they're walking into the
The
forest.
stove, yes.
And they're like, be my life partner in doing this. It's like,
No,
no.
thank you. I'll watch Survivor.
I love to go camping if my car is like 20 feet away.
Right.
I'll go for a little hike during the day. I mainly want to hang out with people who are my friends people who I love, have some hot dogs, have a couple beers, and like sit and look at the stars rather than look at a TV. That is nice. Sleep in a tent for 1 or 2 nights, no problem. 2 nights is fine. Like,
I
and
mean,
then an hour later, I could like be at a Denny's and like use a
yeah,
regular
exactly. You can
bathroom.
get a
Like,
real, yeah, yeah, exactly. Get a real hot meal. We're just not we're the watch it on the comfy couch type of people with a little pint of Haagen-Dazs.
oh yeah, oh my gosh, some Ben and Jerry's. I'm
Actually,
crushing that.
no. Even though I support Ben and Jerry's as a company, every time they have a response to like a brutality in the world, I'm usually like, "Wow, good job, Ben and Jerry." And aren't they like pro-union? Like there's this
Yeah,
union
they're
league
like
at Ben and
if
Jerry.
Bernie Sanders were ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. So I support that, but at the end of the day, the flavor of Haagen-Dazs is better. So I support
Yeah.
Europe more so.
Well, here, I mean, Ben and Jerry's is, I don't even know if you had the ice. Like the things with Ben and Jerry is such a great Survivor finale pod, by the way. The thing with Ben and Jerry's is they just throw shit in there. It's like
Yeah,
Cold
they
Stone.
do. That's
They
not
go to
funny.
Cold Stone and they're just like, throw a bunch of shit in here and we're gonna package it up. The reason you go to Ben and Jerry's is because it has so many toppings and things. I'm crushing this pint right now of some sort of peanut butter thing. There's like chopped up Reese's peanut butter cups inside of it, and it's peanut butter ice cream. It's like great.
Yeah.
But if you took all the stuff out of it, I don't know if the ice cream would be at the same level 1-to-1 with Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs is obviously clearly the best solid ice cream, right? But they don't mess with too many toppings. It's flavor. Maybe there's some chocolate chips in there. Maybe there's like some like a swirl of some kind in there. Maybe there's some like frozen cherries in there.
Whoa.
That's it. I love my top ice cream is Haagen-Dazs coffee.
Yeah, coffee
That's
is
it.
so good. Just plain cream with a little coffee flavor.
But I do love Ben and Jerry's as well. But like Ben and Jerry's is like, I'm about to eat some physical stuff because there's gonna be like gummy bears
difficult.
and Reese's
Yeah,
Cups
there's
inside
a
this
lot
stuff.
going on. It's rough terrain, honestly, as we get older.
It's roughage. It's roughage. It's more of like a fibrous sort of ice cream.
It's like an entire ecosystem in that ice cream.
Yeah.
And I can't handle it anymore.
I'd say they're both really good, but at different things.
So Carolyn, our star, lost.
Yeah, I was sad. I mean,
It's okay.
I understood. I thought she
okay.
made a good case, but she didn't win anything. Like
She did win from Sia. We had a comment talking about how Sia gives her Sia Survivor Awards, which is she just like pays. She just gives.
she's just like, I'm rich.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She gives
So she
contestants money.
Yeah. So and last year it was weird. Sia was quiet. Sia was like,
Sia went dark.
Sia went dark.
Yeah.
Sia saw Gabler and was like, I don't want to be a part of this.
But this season, she came out of her Heidi hole and she bequeathed quite a large amount. She gave Carolyn $100K.
She gave Carolyn $100K.
$100K is so much money to just give some random person you watch on TV.
That's more than you get for winning Big Brother Canada.
Yeah, exactly. The residuals from Chandelier must be absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, does she even tour?
No, she doesn't need to.
Wow.
I see she did this. It's weird that we can't get this sort of access, but Sia did this on Pod Has a Robcast. And
she did?
Yeah, it was like live. It was like a live video chat thing. But
wow,
Sia also was like
fan.
Clearly like just got out of the shower as well. Like that was the wildest thing about it is like I didn't know who I was looking at, and then they said the name Sia, and I'm like, I know Sia's whole thing is like you don't even know what the hell she looks like.
Yeah.
But like she was just like a regular woman who had like gotten out of the shower 5 minutes ago.
She should have worn her signature haircut so you couldn't see her face anymore.
Yeah, if she were looking like Wilson from Home Improvement, I would know what she looks like better.
I think it totally makes sense for her to go on that podcast to give this out, but I think we should try to make it our mission to get the biggest celebrity who is a Big Brother fan to come on our podcast and bequeath
Moynihan.
some of their money. Yeah, Moynihan. Some of
That
their
actually
money
is a good
off.
idea.
Don't you think? And it doesn't have to be as much. It can be, you know,
$30.
$100.
PF Chang's gift certificate.
Oh my gosh. I saw a TikTok of the PF Chang CEO.
I saw this one as well. And he's like
like
29.
30. He's so young. Let me tell you, he has no problem eating Ben and Jerry's. He's eating the
He's like,
roughage.
I get up at 4 a.m. I go for an 8-mile run, and then I
I'm
get
like-
on meetings, and we talk about like the sales that happened yesterday at PF
I'm
Chang's.
like, who's this kid?
Hold on. Every single day, you're like, not enough people had egg rolls on a Wednesday.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
What?
I couldn't believe it. Brett and I are on the same
obviously,
algo,
if you're the
clearly.
CEO of a major like restaurant chain, I mean, obviously the sales are important. I just don't know. What do you do on Thursday if you're like, oh my God, we didn't sell enough honey chicken yesterday? Like, what do we like? What do you do? What do you do if you're the CEO of PF Chang's other than like be like, he looks like an amazing man.
He's good looking.
He's good looking. He's fit. He's like, he's
Fit.
awake for
He
20
should be on
hours a
Survivor.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should. He would be great.
I don't know. I forget why I brought that up, but I'm just saying
He would be like, sorry, he would be like, you know, like when the athletes are on Survivor and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you're like 7 feet tall and super fit. Did you play football or something? And the person's always like, yeah, I played in college, but I work at a car dealership now. Like they always lie.
Right.
He would be like, yeah, I work at PF Chang's. And people are like, oh, he's probably like a bartender or something like that.
I mean, there's something to the idea of like an undercover CEO. I know there's been a show called Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
But like they're just like these 25-year-olds who happen to be CEOs of major American corporations. I think there's something there.
I think we've explored the thing where it's like the CEO of Hertz like wears a fake mustache and fake glasses and like has to work at like fucking Buffalo International Airport
Also,
for a day. We've seen that.
That show, I'm so sorry, everyone, but we need to go down this a little bit.
Let's go. Who cares?
This show was like pro corporation propaganda because it was like the boss is gonna slum it and see, look how great the boss is. The boss isn't afraid to see how hard the people are working, and then it's usually a he inevitably meets a worker who's like fucking up a little on the job and has to like teach them a lesson, and you're like, they make minimum wage to work at fucking Bob's Candle Shop or whatever, like the corporation, Yankee Candle. And they got the CEO in a mustache and fake glasses doing a straight to camera being like, Cheryl left work early to pick up her kids because she says she's a single mom. But, you know, if the time card's supposed to be 5 p.m., it's supposed to be 5 p.m. And making it seem like she's the villain. Give me a break. It was such propaganda.
You know what? Undercover Boss is propaganda.
Yeah.
It
is. And then they would do like, sometimes they would in the final reveal, like they'd bring the employees to meet. They'd pull off the mustache. And they'd be like, oh, we thought you were just a poor person like us working minimum wage. And he's like, actually, I'm not. And I want to say, I'm really impressed with your work ethic. I'm going to give you a $3,000 scholarship, which we don't know what that means. But then occasionally the CEO would fire someone.
I've seen that too, where it's like, you know, they're working at PF Chang's or, you know, maybe it's more something a little bit more, probably PF Chang's obviously customer facing, but something a little bit more like behind a counter or whatever, where it's just like, they're at Sunway and like the person's like, yeah, here's how we make the tuna. It's fucking bullshit. And like, when people come in and ask for a toasted sandwich, just say the toaster's broken. I've seen those, and that person gets fired or whatever.
Which is so crazy. It is so crazy. And this show managed to make us all go like, fuck that kid. Like, fuck that kid working minimum wage who just didn't want to toast up the bread for my sandwich for 30 minutes. Needed a 30-minute break. We're all like, screw that kid. Yeah, fire him. We love the boss. We want to be the boss. And it's like, I just think we all need to break free from that type of mindset. And I'm glad we're discussing it.
Well, you pitched the idea of like some sort of CEO
But I want
next
the CEO
level,
to be
CEO
actually
Survivor.
humbled.
Yeah, CEO Survivor. Go live in the woods.
Yeah.
Go, don't work in customer service at your own business for one day. How about we take away all of your money and like release you out of prison and you have to like find a job and then realize, oh wait, to even afford rent in the city that I live in, I need a second job and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
be an Uber driver at night or whatever.
I was
Force them to do
radicalized.
that. Or what I was going to suggest more of some sort of like CEO battle royale, actually, sign some contracts, limit the liability of CBS. If CEOs die, they die, whatever. Like put them in the sort of pit of despair, put some weapons in there, put some venomous animals in there, let them fight it out.
Yeah, 100%. Matt May says Undercover Boss's Hooters episode was something else. And it's still on. As of May 25th, 2023, Undercover Boss has not been canceled or renewed for a 12 season. So 12, only 12. I feel like the show has been on for like 30 years.
We're living in purgatory. We need to know. What was the Hooters episode? Was it like an adult? Was it like a 65-year-old man?
Oh, God.
Like becoming a Hooters waitress?
I can't believe this show hasn't been on as many seasons as Survivor.
Writer's strike. We know we're getting an Undercover Boss
we know.
season this fall.
I
have something.
Yes.
Sorry,
Okay.
it is not Survivor.
Okay.
Have you seen the CBS trailer for Elsabeth?
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good because it's from the universe of The Good Wife.
Is it?
Yes.
Is she a good wife? Is Elsabeth a good wife character?
She's a beloved good wife character.
Oh
She's
my
like
God.
she comes in, she's a good lawyer, so we love her because she comes in and she's so kooky, and then in the courtroom she's a killer and you don't see it coming because she's so kooky.
Okay. So I saw this trailer and I was like, what the hell?
I know.
Am I watching? And I thought, I'm not trying to be mean here. I thought they were like trying to good doctor like a CBS lawyer show. And it was like so weird and unclear. The premise of the show is like, is she just super weird? Like,
yeah, she's just a kook.
And then my other favorite thing happened, which is we know, first of all right, speaking of shows that have been canceled, RIP East New York, aka the show where Jimmy Smith says, welcome to East New York. The end of the trailer for Elsabeth, Wendell Pierce, who's like the no nonsense like police captain in it, he's like, welcome to New York.
Yeah, because
CBS needs to end every promo with welcome to New York.
I know. And at first I was like, wait, wasn't Good Wife set in New York? But it wasn't. It was set in Chicago. But it's like, it's not like she's moving from
moves to New York.
Yeah, it's not like she's coming from like a small town. She's a little podunk, fell off the turnip truck. Chicago is also a big city with its own city issues.
The second city.
Yeah. I was gonna say Elsabeth is very like all about Steve coded. If you remember the Sandra Bullock, Bradley Cooper film.
Actually, I do not.
Okay, well, Sandra Bullock plays like, again, I haven't seen the movie, but I remember the trailers and how mad everyone was about it and how it flopped big time. She's this woman who's like a crossword puzzler, and she falls in love with Steve, who's a camera guy for local news or something. She starts following him around. So that's how it's like.
Oh, it is.
Kooky.
She's just. Oh, I remember. She's incredibly kooky.
Yeah, she's just very kooky. There's no There's no like there's nothing subscribed to the kookiness. It's not like a medical condition or anything.
That's what I felt like. I was just wondering, like, I wasn't sure because I am not familiar with the Elizabeth cinematic universe. If like she was supposed to be like differently abled of some sort,
No,
like
she's not.
I don't know.
She's
It was just
normal.
it was weird. I don't know. I am not up to date on The Good Wife, The Good Fight,
Oh, I'm so
anything.
up to date. I need to read. Matt May did some research for us. Okay, this is from 2010. When when Kobe Brooks, president and CEO of Hooters, goes undercover in his own company, he finds himself struggling to keep up in a fast-paced kitchen and is later forced to take immediate action when a restaurant manager steps out of line. Steps out of line how? And what's the immediate action?
We're about to have like a solid. That's the other news. We're about to have a solid 2 months before Big Brother starts. So
I
maybe
know.
we'll watch this Hooters episode and we'll do a recap.
We should watch, honestly, the most insane, like horrible shows from this generation, like 2010. It's like To Catch a Predator,
Kid Nation.
Kid Nation, um, Undercover Boss. What Would You Do? Do you remember the show? What Would You Do?
Yeah, where it's just like where some like investigative journalist is like at a restaurant and like they have a plant actor who like slaps the waiter across the face and then like the cameras
They
like kind of
just
go
pay
hunting
people
around the
to-
restaurant and see what the other patrons do.
And it's like, but they keep changing it. So it's always like, well, what would you do if the waiter was a child? Like, what would you do if the waiter was a dog? And then they show like a little like woo woo, and then they slap the dog. And it's like, it's always these reaction shots of patrons, like more often than not getting involved. But every once in a while, some freaking schmo is like, hey, maybe don't hit the dog. And then they
And
bust
it's like
out. They
a
come
hero.
out.
See, America is good after all. A heroes still walk among us.
It is the craziest show. I mean, that show, it was always the same formula. And then it was always like, if you saw someone, like yelling at his girlfriend, would you intervene? If she was like XXL, would you intervene if she was super skinny? Would you intervene if she was old? Like, it's always like these different options of like, how far can we push it until you people finally step up?
This is disgusting.
I know. It is disgusting. The reality, and this is how bad it's going to get with the writers striking. We're going to get a bunch of slop and we're going to have to sift through it.
Do we have anything else to say about Survivor?
I mean, we've really flown so far.
I actually have a couple of notes.
Okay.
Can we talk about the finale, or not the finale, the recap show, the like hangout show?
Oh, the round, afterwards, yes, we can, because at one point Matt Blankenship says that he and Franny have more chemistry than like an atom bomb or something. What did he say? He was like, our chemistry is so off the charts. And then they both just laughed maniacally. They're both just laughing so much. Clearly they're in love, and that's great.
Also, they like have just been sitting in a Fijian resort together, like naked.
They're loved up.
What else are you gonna do?
Poochie. Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? Yeah, so that happened. Like everyone kind of knew that was gonna happen. Good for them,
Sure.
I guess. I mean, I hate anybody who like falls in love. So
yeah, it's not for you.
Anytime I'm on like TikTok, so many TikTok people are always like narrating their shit, or like Instagram, whatever video, and they're like, my boyfriend said this. I'm like, once I hear like boyfriend, spouse, wife, husband,
You swipe.
girlfriend, I literally swipe. I literally don't want to care what anyone's significant other ever did to anybody, because I'm like, fuck you.
Good thing the PF Chang CEO is single, baby.
Maybe we're the new disgusting brothers.
Out. Yeah, maybe you guys can bro out. I actually don't know if that's a fact. I think honestly, I saw
He's a catch.
He's such a catch. And I just like, I think I was so disgusted that he was so young and the CEO of PF Chang's of all things. that I just was like, I can't even watch this. I have to go away and watch something else.
Good for him. Um, I have an idea for a CBS show,
Yeah.
and so does Jam Jam.
Okay.
Jam Jam and Carolyn are married, and somehow they do not. And as this is Jam Jam's words.
Mm-hmm.
They realize after they get married that he is of a different persuasion, and then they adopt Carson.
Right.
Why isn't this a show? This is a Paramount Plus show. I think
I love it.
Jeff said so.
I love it. We can call it Pyros Unite. There was a lot of talk about being a pyro, and we got questions and comments about like how someone, I think it was Phil, I think Twin Star Phil, who knew Jeff was such a pyromaniac. He was so thrilled during the fire competition. He's thrilled during every competition, to be fair. But Jeff's face literally, yes, lit up during anything fire related. But Jam Jam also said he was a pyromaniac.
Jam Jam was great. Like Jam Jam was great at making fire. He was just like done.
Yeah, he was. Philip G in the chat says Jam Jam and Carolyn are a for sure lock for Amazing Race. I need to see Carolyn parachuting. Yeah, I mean,
Just
TV gold.
screaming the entire time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Casting is an art. And when you find a gem, when you find someone like Carolyn and Jam Jam, these are people you don't let leave TV. Like you plug them in because it just makes your life so much easier. Like, I need to find 2 less people because I already got them. We'll plug them into Amazing Race. Hey, put them on Big Brother. We'll bring them for another season of Survivor. Undercover Boss. We'll get them a job at the deli. Whatever. Just
Yeah.
like make sure they're there. It's so once you find them, you stick with them.
I support this. They're great. They're great television.
I agree.
Can we talk about Carson a little bit, Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm.
A couple things. I don't think anyone's called it out to us, but I've seen a lot of people. Carson was, I would say, pretty active during the final tribal council, and he seemed to be like giving hand signals and like kind of like coaching Carolyn and Jam Jam a bit. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
You know what you should do? You should just go pop in the VHS and watch the full 3-hour finale again.
I
But
know.
like, if you check out, people are pointing out clips of this. It's not hard to find, but like Carson was just like say he's a very active listener in this stuff. And there was just a lot of times where like, Carolyn or Jam Jam would be talking and it would be cutting back to the jury.
Yeah.
And, Kane is asking a question, Jamie's asking a question, whatever. And Carson is just like, and he's like, kind of just like giving him like, yeah, speed it up. So like giving him like little hand signals, like giving him, pointing out numbers, like holding up a 3 sign. It was really interesting. And then the other thing that was really weird with Carson is at one point in the finale or in the roundtable, Jeff asked Carson a question and it cuts to this super tight close up of Carson's face with the camera right in front of his face. And it looks super weird. And when you cut back to the wide crowd, the camera isn't there. So clearly, whatever his first answer was either sucked or like a plane flew overhead or like a jungle cat came out, something like that. The jungle cat came out. That should have been in the episode. They had to have him redo his answer. And I felt how they did it really sucked. It was like really apparent and bad. And I like catching bad editing. And I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, it's always fun. It feels like an Easter egg. And so many things are no longer like not secret, but like if you noticed it, usually hundreds of thousands of others have already noticed it and are making memes about it and da da da. So it's fun to find something that truly feels like, oh, I noticed that.
Whenever you're watching anything, remember that you're watching it on television or on your computer or on your phone because a camera is there. And when it's a professional looking thing, TV show, movie, cameras are fucking huge. They don't use an iPhone. I know Apple's like, you can shoot a movie on an Apple. You can't. Steven Soderbergh can, and like nobody will watch it. We love Stevie Soderbergh.
We love Stevie Soderbergh.
Just imagine where your perspective is, there is a 15-pound box, and then there is a fucking 200-pound man standing there holding it. Like, so just imagine, and it drives me nuts in commercials. Like, lots of commercials have this sort of faux hidden camera look to it. There's this one for WhatsApp right now. It drives me crazy because the presentation of it is like it's a hidden camera in some sort of shipping store, and people are kind of having this crazy reaction to the clerk, and it's shot like it's a hidden camera thing, but it's not. There's a giant camera right next to this person's face.
Yeah.
So they're an actor and they know that there's cameras there. It drives me crazy.
It's the officeification, the Modern Family of commercials.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And people like pranks and stuff. And so lots of this stuff is like recreating the aesthetic of a prank or a hidden camera. And I think subconsciously people begin to not tell the difference, and they just assume that, oh yeah, these are not actors. And if it's like performed in a sort of very, very naturalistic sort of way, oh shit, this commercial isn't a commercial. They were fucking doing a prank on some people.
And I loved it, and I'm gonna go buy that thing. We got a question in the chat. Did we ever get an explanation as to why Jam Jam is pronounced Jam Jam? Well, I have to live the rest of my life not knowing. I don't think we did get it. I think it's just how it's pronounced.
I think he is Puerto Rican, and obviously people speak Spanish there, and while we use the same alphabet, they have some bonus letters though. They have the Enye. They have the 2 L's, which is 1 letter. I mean, things are pronounced differently. Like a G is pronounced differently. Like, so it's different. You like, if you see letters in German and French or whatever, they have different sounding pronunciations than English.
I took a beginner Spanish class like 4 years ago, and it was so fun, but it was so hard. I only took the
French
one
though, don't you?
I do know French.
How much French do you know?
Je sais comment parler français. Okay.
So like 10?
I know how to speak French. I can speak French.
So you're like a fluent French speaker.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I knew you speak French. I didn't know if you were like.
But I have a bad accent.
I don't know if you were like donde está la biblioteca or like.
No, because I went to a French school. I'm like truly Canadian in that way.
But like the kind of structure of French versus Spanish is very similar. Obviously,
it's similar, but there are enough differences. Like, and the problem is because I speak French, I kept wanting to pronounce things in a French way, and I kept like thinking it would be more like French than it is. So it was tricky. And then I only took the one class, so my brain stopped growing. I really am trying to, I really went through a phase where I was trying to make my brain grow, and I since have stopped, and I'd like to get back into it.
You're just, at this point, you're just like, I'll just try to make this baby's brain grow.
Yeah, pretty much. 306 in the Discord wants to know, to deal with the WA strike, CBS looks into their backlog of concepts from other shows and decides to run BB Winners at War for this season. Who's first out? Who's in the final 2 chairs? Who does something stupid and gets ejected? People love picturing Big Brother scenarios with people coming back. We love it. It's like everyone's favorite question.
I think
Winners at War. I would say.
Yeah.
Enzo hasn't won.
No. He's gotten close a couple times. I think
final 2 chairs.
Should we just say that all 26 are there?
Yeah, roughly? They're all there. They're all there.
I think 2 people are your possible first boots. I think Josh Martinez, who we love, because he is a bit unbearable as a person. And I think he might just like piss off people and like go really hard into like the meatball stuff and like being abrasive, which like won him the game. It was like so perfect. Love it. And then my other thought would be Derek, because Derek is like a fucking cop and everybody is like, Derek is so fucking good at Big Brother and so good at manipulating people. I
Mhm.
just think that the baggage of like the Derek persona post Big Brother, he had a show on like Discovery.tv or like
That's, like, about
Cop
being a cop.
TV where he's like
Yeah.
sort of like, yeah, this is like the true undercover cop technique sort of thing. Like he's built this little life for himself being like a master manipulator cop guy. I
Yeah.
think people would come in and be like, this guy is too fucking good and too poisonous of like a talker that I can't have him around because he's gonna wipe the floor with me.
Mhm. I would say well, along the same veins, I think Xavier would go really far and maybe be in the final chairs again.
Mm.
He's so good at diffusing drama. Same with Derek, I guess, like, and that's why love I like Xavier better. He was a little more fun, but they're both very boring players. They like anytime a fight's about to break out, I just remember Xavier like cooling it down and getting everyone all calm and to be friends again. I was like, no. So I think he would make it far again. You know who else I think would make it far again? Our girl, Nicole Franzel.
Oh my god.
I think she would. I think she's genuinely very good at this game, and people don't like to
Oh my
hear it, but
god, are
she
you
is.
really gonna vote me out? Oh no,
I think she's a
please.
good Big Brother
Just
player.
crying.
Who
Do
would
you
go
think
first? You know who's gonna
Nicole Franzel would dump Victor on the spot and like find a new like man toy?
maybe, but they have kids now, so that changes things.
Who cares?
I think they have do they have more than one? I'm not sure. But who's first out? I would say there's a lot. I'm looking at the list of winners. Mike Boogie first out. Dick
Mike
Donato
Boogie's like
first out.
Mike
Adam
Boogie needs to be
Jasinski.
first out of prison or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Isn't he like
Exactly.
isn't he like a felon or something like that?
Yeah, first out. And then who does something stupid and get ejected? Mike Boogie, ejected. Dick Donato, ejected. Adam Jasinski, dejected, rejected, ejected. There's a lot of options. We
Do
really
you know
have
who's you know who's gonna win? You know who I think is gonna win?
who?
You
Hey.
guys.
Oh.
Casey. Casey is the most
Yeah, because everyone's gonna forget she's there.
yeah, exactly. Does
Um,
well at comps and like she's like a comp beast, and every time she wins, people are like, "Well, I didn't deserve to win that one, and I'm not going to hold it against her. I'm not going to
yeah.
consider her a comp beast."
Do you want me to answer your question, Brett Rader?
Sure. Well,
So
actually, I want to know,
yes.
Danielle, are
Yeah.
you taking your young daughter to see The Little Mermaid
No.
2023?
Hell no. You know why? Because my child is under 2. That means
Okay, that's the
she
cutoff.
can't sit still for more than 30 seconds without screaming or like she needs to move. She just learned how to walk, so she wants to move all the time. So there's no way I'm taking her anywhere where she has to just sit for how long is Little Mermaid? It's probably 3.5 hours.
Oh my god.
So no, I will not be taking her there.
Yeah, Disney's like, "Hey, we should do a kids movie, but it's like 4 hours long. And
It'd be great if I could just like
really
leave
dark.
them there, leave the kid at the theater.
Dies in it." There's like a 20-minute like speech from Lin-Manuel Miranda in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. I no, there's no way.
Well, they just released like the came out today. Do you know the first movie I ever saw in theaters was The Little Mermaid. My parents took me
Aw,
in
that's so
1989.
cute.
Uh, so I imagine lots of kids are going to see this movie this weekend,
I
and
bet
they
little Freddie
released.
loved it.
Maybe it's why I'm like a bit afeared of the deep sea, a bit afeared
Maybe.
of tentacled creatures,
Oh.
and I do not like the open. I do not like the sea to this day.
You don't wanna live under the sea.
They released. Oh no, not with that, Sebastian.
Down where it's better, down where it's wetter?
They released the soundtrack to it this weekend, and in addition to all the songs you'll know and love, there's a bunch of like stupid new songs with like Lin-Manuel Miranda and Aquafina. And like, what the fuck are we
Awkwafina's
listening
like
to?
talk singing. And
And
it's
my friend Jason tweeted out this link to the song, and he was just like, "Oh my god, basically this song is going to destroy parents' minds for the next month in the same way that we don't talk about Bruno or whatever."
I don't
sort of
think so. I don't
808.
think it sounds like a hit. It doesn't have
It
a
doesn't.
really good melody or anything. And it's Scuttle's song, Scuttle the Seagull, and it's called Scuttlebutt, and that is just not. It's just not what kids want. Kids don't care
It
about
has
a bird. I'm sorry, they don't.
it has Lin-Manuel's fingers all over it. And I know people love that guy's stuff.
Let me
Not
tell you
me.
right now. Here are who
that's
the
what this
A-lists are for kids: mice, dogs, cats. They do not care about birds at all. At all. They're the list animal.
Make those birds angry.
Now
got a
we're
movie.
talking.
That's Hollywood, baby.
Thank you all for your questions and comments and for joining us in the chat. Oh, we got a good chat today. Listen, what are we gonna watch? What now? We're gonna
Okay,
figure
we'll
it
come up. Okay, here's the deal. I know you're trying to leave.
out.
Here's the business. This is the last pod for 2 weeks. No pod next weekend. Brady's unavailable.
Yeah.
Pod the week after that. Pod, but no video. No live stream. No YouTube. No video. Pod only. Because Brady's going to the 6. Brady is going to be in Toronto, and we're going to
It's gonna
pod
be a
somewhere.
in-person
Daniel's
pod.
Well, maybe we'll post a picture or whatever, but we're not doing the live stream of it.
No.
So enjoy a week off from us. We will maybe we'll watch something in advance and discuss it on the pod. But we'll be back in 2 weeks on the pod, 3 weeks on video. Anything else?
That's all. Everyone think about any Canadian recommendations you want to give to Brett while he's in the city, the big Canadian city.
We got one.
The Canadian, downtown Canada. Thank you all for listening. Join our Discord. Send us questions and comments. Hey, Julie BB on Twitter. Email us, heyjuliebigbrother@gmail.com. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, Jeff.
Bye, Jeff. Goodbye, Jeff, for many, many months.